Today I'm going to take you on a video tour of Minnetonka, Minnesota. Minnetonka is a suburb that's west of Minneapolis, and it has a population of about 53,000. And it would take you roughly 20 minutes to get to downtown Minneapolis and also to the airport. And it would take you about 30 minutes to get to downtown St. Paul. So Minnetonka is definitely a highly sought out location, and you'll be able to tell because of the price tag on some of the homes. But to be fair, there are some amazingly stunning homes in Minnetonka, especially the ones that are around the lake, but it's not just the ones that are around the lake, it's definitely throughout the whole city. Minnetonka is basically fully developed, although every now and then you will see some new builds, and pretty often they're in either the multi-millions, or I don't see any that are listed below 800,000. Minnetonka definitely has all of the stores you need. There's definitely a Target and all the other big box stores that you need. There's the Ridgedale Mall, and of course that has tons of stores and restaurants in it. And then there's this place, it's called the General Store. And I think this place is really cool. It has some really random stuff, but there's like furniture and clothing and gifts and tons of other stuff. There are smaller strip malls kind of spread throughout the commercial areas in Minnetonka, but there's not a whole lot of, unique stores like you would find more in like Southwest Minneapolis. Minnetonka residents say they like the feeling of kind of being farther out in nature, but still close to plenty of commercial spaces. If you're thinking about making a move to Minnetonka or any other part of the Twin Cities, I would love to help, so please feel free to reach out to me. All my contact information is in the description box. Minnetonka definitely has a lot of options for outdoor recreation. There's Lake Minnetonka, and although there's a lot of private access because of the homes on the lake, there's definitely a lot of public access as well. Minnetonka has 5 community parks and 44 neighborhood parks. And you'll see a few throughout this video. I'm gonna have them labeled so you know where I am. But one I went to is Lone Lake Park, and that has a soccer field and a basketball court and a nice view of the pond. And then there's Jadana Dog Park, which has a nice trail through a wooded area. And it leads out to a dock, and then you can watch Minnehaha Creek. And then one of the more popular ones is Shady Oak Beach. And this one's a really nice park, and it has a trail around the lake, it's a cute little bridge. The one thing I don't like about this particular park is that the beach is gated off and you actually have to pay for it. It's like $6 per person, or you can get a season pass. But it is a really nice beach. However, I'd rather go to a different beach like 10 minutes away and go for free. As I mentioned earlier, you are definitely paying for location. The median sales price in Minnetonka is $451,000, and that includes the townhouses and the condos and single-family homes. But if you include only single-family homes, the median sales price goes up to $562,000. The highest number of homes were built in the 80s, but most of the homes were built between 1950 and 1979, so slightly older than the surrounding suburbs. The thing I love about Minnetonka is that all the neighborhoods look so different from one another. Be driving through one and it's nice and wooded and it has all this character, and then you'll go a mile or two and then you get into a different neighborhood and the homes look newer and it has a completely different vibe to it, and it feels like you're sometimes in a completely different city. So I just like the variety in Minnetonka. If you're looking to buy a home in Minnetonka, I would go in with a minimum budget of $600,000 or $700,000. And that's, if you want a turnkey move-in ready home, because you can find some homes that are under $500,000, but even the homes that are close to $500,000 are completely not updated, they're older, it's like stained, and I even saw a tear down selling for $550,000. If you're interested in schools, Minnetonka is served by 3 different school districts. You have Minnetonka, Wayzata, and Hopkins. Niche.com gave Minnetonka and Wayzata schools an A+, and Hopkins schools an A. If you're interested in schools, I highly suggest going to the niche.com website for yourself so you can kind of see what the grading criteria is, because some of those things are going to be more important to you than others. Now for some pros and cons, and I will start with the cons. One being is that the major highways close to Minnetonka, going through Minnetonka, are 2-lane highways, so those tend to get backed up a lot more during traffic. Another con is that there are not as many neighborhood events. Now, don't get me wrong, they still have neighborhood events, but they don't have, say, as many as, Lakeville or Savage. Another con is that Minnetonka is pretty spread out. So if you rely on public transportation or you need to get around by bike, it might be a little bit more difficult for you and maybe a little bit more frustrating because everything is kind of far away from each other. The last con I'll mention is that it may kind of have an exclusive energy to it, like maybe people seem a little bit stuck up. I was walking around a few of the parks getting footage and everything, and I walked past a few people and they asked me how my day was going, and they seemed friendly enough. I did have one woman I was getting footage of a lake, and she was kind of shielding herself, and I said, don't worry, that you're not in the shot. So, other than that, I didn't have any bad experiences. As for pros, the homes in Minnetonka are on really nice big lots, and they're always most of the homes in Minnetonka are really well kept. Like their landscaping is phenomenal and everything looks really beautiful. The grass is always really green. Not that grass is super important, but it does look really pretty. And that leads me to another pro, which would be that all the public spaces are also really well kept. Everything is really clean, looks immaculate. You can tell that it's well taken care of. I know I mentioned this earlier, but another pro is that the neighborhoods look so different from one another. So if you want to be in Minnetonka and you're not quite sure, you want something that's more wooded, you can find that there. If you're kind of looking for like a newer development, the homes are closely together, you can find that there too. It kind of has everything. And all the homes there, okay, I shouldn't say all the homes there, but a lot of the homes there have really unique construction. Like it doesn't seem as though you're driving through like Pleasantville. All the homes kind of one next to another just look completely different. And the last pro I'll mention is that there is definitely a good balance. There's a good balance of outdoor recreation, outdoor spaces, and commercial areas, so you can have the best of both. Watch this video next if you want to know what you're getting yourself into before you move here.